Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a really, really tricky question. I mean, there are so many moving parts. With search, it was I rank top or I don't. But with assistive engines, it's very fluid. And as you said, people move around. And if they change one word, they might go off on this direction. The only thing you can actually do is create the content that educates the machine. If you educate the machine, you have the opportunity to be presented by the machine because the machine has learned from you and is therefore going to speak more or less in your manner. And one of the problems we're going to be facing is indexes by the search engines are going to get smaller and smaller. Perplexity famously has a very small index, and yet they've got very great results. And Google are aiming to reduce their index. How do you become one of the sites that they regularly crawl, index, and use? That's going to be one of the tricks. And if you've got 500 competitors, they're not going to crawl the 500 competitors in 3 years' time. They're going to crawl 20 of them. How do you get in that set of 20? That's the big question you need to ask yourself. In terms of SEO or assistive engine optimization, that's the huge question is, how do you become a source of information for the engines? And the answer is actually really simple. Number one, have the great content, traditional SEO. But number two, be the respected source, be the authoritative source, be the thought leader as a person, content creator in your industry, and be the industry leader as a corporation. And being the industry leader doesn't necessarily mean being the biggest seller. It's being the most helpful, the one with the best information that helps solve the problem. And that's a really, really, really fundamental piece of advice for the future. And it comes back to, as a person, I need this machine to understand who I am, what I do, who I serve, and that I'm credible. And as a corporation, I need it to understand who I am, what I do, who I serve, and that I'm credible. And if I can become an industry leader in the brain of this machine, it will come back to me for information consistently, and it will regurgitate my information in the funnel in the future.